The galaxy was full of noise as the Imperial Council made a new announcement. A strange signal had been detected from the far edge of known space. Every major empire believed it came from an ancient archive with powerful technology. Whoever reached it first would gain control over the future. So the great armadas prepared their largest fleets, filled with thousands of bright warships. But when humanity arrived, the galaxy burst into laughter. The humans brought only 20 ships. Not a grand armada, not a massive force. Only 20 silent black ships shaped like blades in the dark. The Galactic Forum broadcast the scene live, and leaders from every empire enjoyed the moment. "Look at them," one alien minister laughed. "That is not a fleet, that is a joke," another voice shouted. Humans must think size does not matter, but the humans stayed quiet. They did not fight the insults, they did not answer the jokes. They only formed a calm line in orbit around the archive planet. This quiet behavior confused the galaxy, but the laughter continued. Every empire believed they would crush the humans easily if needed inside the command ship Horizon. Captain Mirahale watched the enemy fleets gather like storms of metal. She saw thousands of ships glowing with energy, and she heard the open mocking calls from other commanders. But Mira did not care. Her fleet was small, yes, but every human ship carried technology no other empire had seen. Years of human research had created something dangerous and secret, something that did not depend on size or numbers. Her first officer, Ryan Vale, stood beside her and whispered, "They all think we are weak." Mira gave a small cold smile. Let them think that. She believed in her crew, and she believed in the strange power hidden inside their ships. The Imperial Armada moved first, engines bright like fire as they rushed toward the archive world. They wanted to claim the planet before the others could reach it. Their commanders sent another mocking message to Mira. "Move aside, little humans," they said. "This mission is too big for your tiny fleet." But Mira replied with only 2 words. "Hold position." Her fleet stayed completely still. Dark and silent, her crew watched the massive armadas push forward, blocking out the stars with their sheer numbers. Then something unexpected happened. Human scanners detected a rising energy from deep under the planet's surface. The archive was waking up. Lights moved across the planet's crust like glowing veins, and the ground trembled even in space readings. Rian felt a chill. "Captain, this energy is not normal," Mira nodded. "The others think we are the small ones," she said softly. "But they do not know what we carry." As the Imperial Armada reached low orbit, a strange blue storm began to rise from the planet. The galaxy kept laughing, but their laughter was about to die. Because the ancient world had awakened, and soon the galaxy would learn the truth. The small human fleet was not small at all. It was simply quiet, quiet and waiting. And the first warning sign was seconds away. The blue energy storm rose from the archive planet like a silent wave. At first it looked beautiful, glowing softly under the dark sky. But within seconds it turned violent. The wave expanded outward faster than light, covering the Imperial Armada in a blanket of deadly energy. The proud warships that had mocked humanity only moments before suddenly lost power. Engines died, shields vanished, weapons shut down. Thousands of ships became nothing more than drifting metal. The Imperial commanders screamed orders, but their voices were useless. Their controls did not answer. Their systems did not restart. Their mighty armada was collapsing without a single shot fired. Across the galaxy, every empire watching the live broadcast fell silent. No one had expected this. No one had predicted that the ancient archive would react so violently. The wave was not an attack, it was a warning. A warning from a forgotten civilization far older than any of the current empires. But something even stranger happened. The energy storm flowed around the 20 human ships without touching them. It washed past them like water around stone. Only the humans stood untouched while everyone else drifted helplessly in the storm. The council chambers across the galaxy erupted in confusion. "How are the humans still alive?" one leader shouted. "Why did the storm ignore them?" another demanded. But no one had answers. Inside the horizon, Ryan looked at the glowing storm around them. "Stunned, our stabilizers held," he whispered. Unable to believe his own words, Mira nodded slowly. "This is why we came prepared," she said. "Humanity does not enter unknown space without expecting danger. Their ships used experimental field stabilizers built to survive the worst cosmic events. Black holes, neutron storms, dark energy bursts. The galaxy had laughed at the small human fleet, but now the truth was clear. Humanity had arrived equipped for a threat no one else even considered. Meanwhile, the other empires struggled to regain control. Emergency lights flickered, alarms screamed, and pilots pushed buttons that did nothing. Their ships were powerless, their giant fleets were useless. And for the first time in centuries, fear spread across their ranks. Then the planet grew even brighter. Blue cracks of light cut across its surface like lightning. Strange symbols appeared in orbit, projected by invisible machines. Everyone who saw them felt a weight in their chest. They were ancient warnings written in a language forgotten by time. Mira watched the symbols form. She recognized a pattern similar to old human research files. "It's scanning the fleets," she said. "It is judging who is a threat. If the archive saw thousands of active ships, it would react with even more power. And right now, the only active engines in the entire area belong to the humans." Rian spoke quietly. "Captain, it might think we are intruders too." But Mira shook her head. "No," she said. "It let us pass through the storm. It knows we are not here for greed." She turned to her communication officer. "Send out a calm broadcast. Tell the archive we are not enemies." The officer hesitated. "Captain, do you think it will understand?" Mira looked at the glowing world. "I think it already does," she replied. The archive responded in its own way. Dozens of satellites rose from hidden structures under the planet's crust. They formed a deadly ring around the world, aiming at the only active ships, the humans, across the galaxy. The watching empires held their breath. The storm had disabled them. But the humans were now in the center of the danger. The archive had awakened fully, and it was preparing to fire, but Mirahale did not panic. She looked at the approaching danger with calm eyes and said the words her crew feared and trusted. "Prepare for countermeasures." The small fleet that no one feared was about to fight ancient technology born from a forgotten age. And the real battle was just beginning. The satellites around the archive planet twisted into formation like blades preparing for a strike. They glowed with ancient power, bright enough to light half the orbit. Every empire still watching the broadcast felt their fear grow, because the only active fleet left was the tiny human force. And those satellites were aiming directly at them. The Imperial commanders, helpless in their drifting ships, began to shout warnings. "Humans, retreat," one yelled. "You cannot fight that technology," another cried, but Mirahale ignored them. She listened only to her crew and to the silent power humming inside her own ship. Rian leaned forward, his hands shaking slightly. "Captain, the satellites are charging their weapons." Mira stayed calm. "Field shift control," she ordered. Her voice was steady. Like she had prepared for this moment her whole life, her crew activated the hidden system. The lights inside every human ship dimmed for a moment. Then the entire fleet shimmered like reflections in water. The ships bent the light around themselves using graviton distortion fields. To enemy sensors, they became nothing more than faded shadows. The satellites fired. Beams of white-hot energy shot across space like lightning. They hit the positions where the human ship should have been, but the beams passed right through empty space. The humans had already shifted out of the line of fire. Invisible, silent, and dangerous, across the galaxy. The watching nations were stunned. The small fleet they had mocked was outmaneuvering technology older than their entire civilizations. And it was doing it with perfect precision. No panic, no chaos, only discipline. Inside the horizon, Rian's eyes widened. "The archive cannot lock onto us," he said. "Our distortion is working better than the simulations." Mira nodded slowly. "Good," she said. "Now it's our turn." The human fleet did not fire missiles or heavy weapons. They used something more elegant and controlled. Each ship activated a narrow pulse beam designed not to destroy but to disable. The pulses were thin lines of blue-white light, faster than any defense system could track. One by one, they struck the satellites, and each satellite went dark instantly. A clean shutdown, no explosion, just perfect surgical precision. The galaxy watched in silence for centuries. Empires had believed humans were simple, emotional, unpredictable, but now they saw something else. Humans were strategic, patient, and terrifyingly prepared. One alien broadcast whispered, "The 20 ships are fighting like they trained for this exact event." Another voice answered. "What if they did?" Mira continued issuing precise orders. "Target the next satellite, shift positions, prepare counterpulse." Her voice never shook. Her crew moved with machine-like focus. This was not luck. This was human planning at its highest level. The last satellite tried to activate a secondary weapon, but the human ship Vanguard hit it with a double pulse. The satellite died instantly, falling quiet like the others. The entire defensive ring was gone in less than a minute. The ancient archive had been neutralized without a single human casualty. Without a single destructive explosion inside the Imperial flagship, the defeated commander stared in disbelief. A force of 20 human ships had just beaten ancient weapons built by a civilization that once ruled the stars. They realized something terrible. If humanity had technology like this, then their small fleet was not small at all. It was a warning. The galaxy no longer laughed. They held their breath because everyone finally understood one thing. Humanity had not come here by accident. They had come ready. Ready for a threat no one else had known existed. And now the humans were the only fleet left standing in full control of the archive planet. The balance of the galaxy had just shifted, filled the battlefield after the human fleet disabled the ancient satellites. Not a single alien leader spoke, not a single empire dared to breathe. Everyone in the galaxy was watching the same shocking truth. The small fleet they mocked had just defeated ancient technology with perfect precision. But humiliation does strange things to powerful empires, and the Imperials were the proudest empire of all. Their commanders, still drifting helplessly in dark space, refused to accept defeat, even with their ships dead, their engines cold, and their systems blind. They searched for a way to strike back. Inside the Imperial flagship, a furious commander slammed his fist on the console. "We cannot let humans win," he shouted. "They are 20 ships." "We are thousands," his second officer whispered. "Sir, our ships are disabled." But the commander growled. "Then we reactivate them. I do not care how, using emergency core systems." The Imperials forced their ships back online. Engines flickered weakly. Weapons glitching, shields half-formed. Their fleet was wounded, but not broken. And wounded pride was the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. The Imperials aimed every weapon they had at the human fleet. Energy cannons, plasma batteries, missile launchers, railguns. Thousands of weapons locked onto 20 targets. Rian saw the readings and felt his heart drop. "Captain, they are preparing a full strike." Mirahale did not panic. She had expected this. "Activate counter AI," she said calmly. Her crew obeyed instantly. Human counter-AI systems were something the galaxy had never seen. They were built to slip into enemy fire control networks like a ghost, to rewrite battle code faster than any alien computer could track. As the Imperials fired their massive attack, something impossible happened. Every weapon shut down at the same time. Missile bays froze, cannons went dark, railguns powered off. Thousands of weapons from hundreds of ships all died in one silent moment. Across the galaxy, entire nations gasped. What did the humans do? Someone whispered on the broadcast. How can 20 ships disable a 1,000-warship volley? Another said. But the answer was simple. Humanity had created technology designed not to destroy but to control. The Imperial commander slammed his fists again. This cannot be happening, he screamed. But the truth was clear. Their massive fleet was nothing now. A giant body with no brain, no strength, no chance. Desperate. The commander tried one last move. He aimed the entire flagship toward the human command ship Horizon. He planned to ram it at full speed if he could not win. He would try to take the humans down with him. Ryan shouted, "Captain, they are coming straight at us." The Imperial flagship grew larger in the viewscreen, a burning giant dragging all its remaining power into one final attack. Mira looked at it without fear. "Activate the gravity bow," she ordered. The humans had kept this system hidden until now. It was a gravitational weapon so advanced that the galaxy believed it was only theory. But humanity had built it, and now Mira was using it. The space in front of the horizon rippled like bending glass. A focused gravitational field formed in front of the human ship. The Imperial flagship flew straight into it and froze, stopped completely. Held in place by an invisible force stronger than any engine, the Imperial crew screamed in terror. How are they doing this? What is this power? But Mira answered quietly. This is human preparation. The message reached every empire, every commander, every citizen watching live. Humanity had faced thousands of ships and ancient technology, and they were still untouched, calm, and in full control. The galaxy finally understood. The small fleet was not small at all. It was the most advanced fleet the galaxy had ever seen. And the Imperials were done, defeated not by numbers, but by strategy, discipline, and power no one believed humans had. The battlefield went still as the Imperial flagship hung frozen in space. Humanity had answered back, and the galaxy would never forget it. The battlefield had gone silent. The Imperial flagship was frozen in space by the human gravity bow, unable to move even an inch. The rest of the Imperial armada drifted like broken metal, their weapons dead, their engines cold. Every empire watching the live broadcast had finally stopped laughing. Now they watched with fear, with respect, and with a new understanding. Humanity was not small. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was something the galaxy had never prepared for. Inside the horizon, Captain Myra Hale stood calm at the center of her command bridge. Her crew waited for her next order, trusting her with their lives. The archive planet below still glowed softly with ancient light, but its weapons were disabled. Its satellites offline, its defenses neutralized. Humanity now controlled the orbit, and everyone in the galaxy knew it. Ryan whispered carefully, "Captain, all hostile ships are neutralized." Another officer added, "The archive is stable. No more defensive reactions." Mira nodded. "Good," she said quietly. "It's time." She opened a wide broadcast to the entire galaxy. Every empire, every commander, every citizen watching the event felt the signal reach their screens. The image of Mira Hale appeared before billions across the stars. Calm, steady, powerful. The woman who led only 20 ships against thousands, and won. "You laughed at us," Mira began, her voice even and cold. "You called our fleet small." She let the words hang in the void. The galaxy remembered every joke, every insult, every moment they mockingly dismissed humanity. You believe size was strength, she continued. You believe numbers gave you power. She looked out across the dark field of disabled ships. But you forgot something important. Her fleet activated soft blue lights along their hulls, revealing hidden systems, technology no empire had ever seen. Fields of energy bent around them, calm and controlled. We do not measure strength by numbers, Mira said. We measure it by preparation, by discipline. By unity, the human ships moved into a new formation, surrounding the archive planet like guardians. Not conquerors, not invaders, but protectors. Mira continued speaking. Humanity did not come here to take this world by force. We came to prevent a war. We came to stop any empire from using the archive to control the others. Her words echoed across the galaxy like a quiet storm. Empires who once mocked humans now bowed their heads. Some in respect, some in fear, all in acceptance. The archive will not belong to one empire, Mira said. It will not be a weapon. It will not start a new age of domination. Her eyes hardened. But understand this, she said. If any empire comes with greed, if any of you try to start war for this technology, her fleet brightened again. Dark hulls glowing with contained power. Then you will face humanity again. The message was clear. Not a threat, not a promise, but a simple truth. The camera feeds from across the galaxy showed it all. Alien leaders whispering to their advisors. Soldiers staring at the frozen Imperial flagship. Civilians watching with wide eyes, all realizing that everything had changed. After Mira ended the broadcast, the bridge of the horizon fell quiet. The crew waited, wondering what the galaxy would do next. But nothing happened. No one moved, no one attacked. Every empire stayed silent. They had finally understood their mistake. Humanity was not a minor species anymore. They were not weak or unprepared. They were a force that could stand against ancient weapons, massive fleets, and thousands of years of galactic arrogance. The galaxy no longer laughed. Instead, they watched humanity take command of the archive world with calm authority. And from that day forward, the phrase small fleet held a new meaning. It was no longer an insult. It was a warning. A reminder that 20 human ships had changed the future of the galaxy, and that when humanity answered back, the entire universe listened and every empire knew it.